Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi. Zevachim Samach Ta'al to begin two lines off the top of the Amud back to the Mizbeach and the various functions that were performed throughout the corners of the Mizbeach. Specifically, we discussed the Doraim Ma'arav corners. So you have the Kevesh leading up to the Mizbeach. Here you're coming into the Azara. This is the east side, the Mizrach side. Then you're heading over to the Heichal Kodesh HaKadoshim. That's the west, that's the Ma'arav. The Kevesh comes up the Doraim side, the south, and on the other side you have the Tzafain, the north side. So what happened on this corner, Doraim Ma'arav? We discussed three things that would take place on the lower part of that corner, meaning below that Chut HaSikra, below that red halfway marker, that dividing line running around the, encircling the Mizbeach at the halfway point, up that wall. So three things that occurred below that divider, and three things above that divider. What were the three things that occurred milamata, below? Says the Mishnah, Shleisha Dvarim. One was the Chatas Oif. So the Chatas bird that was processed there. Why over there? Hadamar, as we explained in the Mishnah and in the Gemara, because it's meant to be at the same location as the Hagasha, the tapping of the container with the mincha material on that corner as well. And that takes us to the next item, Hagashas. Why in that corner? The Chsiv, we discussed this yesterday, Vigisha Pnei Mizbeach, which requires that corner. What about Shiri Adam, the pouring of the leftovers of the Chatas blood? The Chsiv is called Dam Hapar Yishbech Elisei the Mizbeach. And again Rashi brings the Gemara back on Daf Nun Gimel, where we learned that it's meant to be at the closest corner. So as you exit the Mizbeach, go down the ramp, you go to the closest Yisoid, right? The Yisoid was the foundation which encircled most of the Mizbeach, and it reached this corner as well. It did not reach this corner. It just went around the Mizrach and the Tzaf, and then overlapped, came around the corners as well, but did not cover Darim and Mizrach. So the closest Yisoid would be over here, Darim Ma'arav on the bottom. So on the bottom you did the Chatas Oif, Hagashos, and Shir Adam. What about at that corner above the Chut HaSikra? Three things as well. Malamala, what took place there? Nisach HaMayim, Ba'yayin, pouring of the wine during the Karbanis, and also pouring of the water once a year on Sukkos. So you poured into like a container which took you to the drain, the Shisin below the Mizbeach, and Va'olas HaOif, the Oila bird, which was typically actually done at the other corner, at the Mizrach Darim corner. The Gemara will explain why. But Shehi Rabba Mizrach, when there was extra traffic there, it exceeded the capacity of that corner, got crowded. So the Kohen would revert to this corner and do it over here, Darim Ma'arav. Now, why would they prefer this corner, the Darim Ma'arav, Darim Mizrach, for the processing of the Eilas Oif? What was unique about that corner? My time, Rabbi Yechon Amar, because it was the closest corner to that compartment, in-ground compartment, as we're going to see in a minute, which ran on the floor alongside the kevesh. That's where the Kohen would deposit some of the waste material of that oila bird. So this corner, the Darim Mizrach, was the closest to that deposit area for the waste, and that's why they did it over there. Amar B'Yechon, come and take a look how strong the Kohanim were. Boirei, come, be impressed. Kama Godol Koichan Shel Kohanim, how physically powerful the Kohanim were. Perhaps it was physical power which was based on their spiritual resources. In any case, look. Yeah, typically he would do the Eilas Oif at this corner closer to the Beis Hadashin, but when there was overflow, he would relocate to this corner, to the Darim Ma'arav, which was quite a distance from the Beis Hadashin, which was on the far side of the ramp. We're talking a long throw. He would have to toss the waste all the way over there, which was a really far throw. What's the lightest, portion of the bird? The moira of a noitza, that's the crop, and the noitza, the feather, arrangement over it, so they would just like scoop out the whole thing and throw it. It's a very light portion of the bird. It's not a flesh or bones, right? And at times, meaning when the Kohen was compelled to do the oila at the far corner, at the Marav Daram corner, he would have to throw it a great distance. More than 30 am, he would have to toss it all the way to the Beis Hadeshin, which was located on the far side of the kevesh, like we explained. And as we're going to see in the following Mishnah, which describes the exact location of the Beis Hadeshin being all the way on the mizrach of that kevesh. This is not. So we have a Mishnah regarding a different topic altogether. This is actually regarding Tumas Hadeshin. So once a day, the Kohen would climb up on the mizbeach and scoop out some of the burnt ashes and deposit it where? In this Beis Hadeshin. And where was it? As we're going to see, the Snan Notal Machto Shel Kesef. Kohen would grab hold of a silver shovel, climb up the mizbeach, and scoop away, push aside the burning coals, so they can get to the bottom, really burnt out ashes. Mukolis is lashon of uchal, of consumed from the real, deep inside the burnt out ashes. He would take a scoop and come back down v'yored. Okay, so let's follow his itinerary. He went up, scooped out, and is now going back v'yored. He gets back down. Okay, he's down the ramp. V'yigia l'ritzpa, gets down to the floor. And then he makes a U-turn. Okay, he turns his face towards Tzafon, which is that way, right? So he's basically backing up. He's going back. How far? Now he's walking along the east, the mizrach of the kevesh. For how long? Amis, about 10 amis. So now you know at the Beis Hadeshin, where he's meant to deposit his coals, are right there. Okay, to the mizrach of the kevesh, 10 amis in. Okay, what does he do over there? He loads up the coals on the floor. 3 tefachim moved away from the kevesh, which is the Beis Hadeshin, where they would actually put all the other waste material, makam shneisen meira, used material, I should say, makam shneisen meira v'noitza, you deposit the crop and the portions of the bird which are not meant to be burnt on the mizbeach. So that's the point that pertains to us. And what else will they put there? V'dishur mizbeach hapnimi. Okay, the ashes, they clean out off the internal mizbeach as well. That would be placed over there. V'menorah, and the ashes, the burnt out material from the menorah. And actually, the Gemara says that it was a miraculous phenomenon because it would just get swallowed into the ground. Otherwise, you would have a whole dump in the Azara, which was not befitting. In any case, let's calculate the distance. Okay, if the Kohen were to do the Oila Sa'if at this corner, if there was overload on the other corner, he would come over to this corner, that's the Marav Daram corner. Now he has to toss the Meirav and Noitza all the way over. Gemara is assuming he threw it. He threw it all the way over to the Beis Hadeshin, which was all the way across. Now how far a throw is that? Let's make a simple calculation. The kevesh itself was 32 amos long, 16 amos wide. The mizbeach, the top surface we're talking now, is 28 amos wide. So it's 6 amma overlap on either side of the kevesh. Okay? So you have the distance between where you're standing to the kevesh. You got 6 amos. The kevesh itself at 16. Okay, so now you're at 22. Okay? Now, the Beis Hadeshin wasn't near the mizbeach. It was alongside the kevesh. How far in? How far closer to the mizbeach from the end of the kevesh? So again, the kevesh was 32 long, and as we said, Beis Hadeshin was 10 amos in, putting it 22 amos from the mizbeach. So he's tossing this item across. It's across the diagonal of an imaginary 22 by 22 amos square. Right? Again, it's 6 amos to the mizbeach, to the kevesh, 16 over to the end of the kevesh. How far off the mizbeach is the Beis Hadeshin? 22 amos. And he's throwing a cross on a diagonal. Okay? Now, as Rashi brings, there's a formula that Chazal work with, that a diagonal is 1.4 of the straight angle of the square. So it's about, more or less. So it's about 31 and a bit that he has to toss to get to the Beis Hadeshin. Look how strong and powerful those Kohanim were. Says Rabbi Yochanan. Ask the Gemara, but Rabbi Yochanan spoke about the toss, the throw, exceeding 30 amma, merely 30 amma plus. But in reality, it's more than 31. Why are we minimizing it? It's really more than 31. The answer is, the Kohen himself, as a person, takes up space, about an amma, right? So that we don't have to count, because he's throwing in front of him. So he's standing at the corner. His body takes up an amma. We can deduct that, because the throw only takes place starting before him. Okay, so it's only 30 and a bit. So typically when you approach the Mizbeach, you go up from the right, and even if you're going to the far corner, you have to go and encircle the Mizbeach. They're covered, we learn from a pasuk, you're meant to go to your right, and actually, the Kahana would face the Mizbeach as they're going around. So you'd face the Mizbeach and shuffle over to your right, derech yamin, and encircle, and then when he's done, he would continue encircling, finishing the circle as a 360 and come down the Mizbeach. So you would never back out the way you came, because that would entail going to your left, and you meant to go to your right. Except, there are 3 exceptions in the Mishnah. The 3 items that were addressed at this corner, at the Dorim Marav corner, on the upper part. The Nisach HaMayim, Nisach HaYayin, and the Eilas HaOyif, when there was extra traffic on the other side. In these cases, you would think, you turn right and go all the way around till you get to this corner. No, you make a straight beeline for this corner, rather than encircling the entire Mizbeach. The question is why? Why do we make exception for these 3 things? My time, or Rabbi Yechanan, there were special reasons. Nesachim, when it comes to pouring the liquid, Shamis Ashno. Imagine you're going to encircle the Mizbeach holding these containers. They'll get affected by the smoke and get spoiled. So that required a direct beeline to that corner. V'olas ha'oif, the Eilas ha'oif bird. Again, you don't want to take him around the Mizbeach and risk smoke inhalation. Shema Thomas Bashna might die from smoke inhalation. So you take him directly to his destination. We have a kasha from Rabbi Brisa, which discusses a Kohen Gadol. Now the Kohen Gadol, as we know, had a green light, full access. He can do any carb at any time. Okay, so what did he do? He decided, I want to do the Aktorah on the Mizbeach. So he's going to encircle the Mizbeach. Ma'inu maskul. Where does he begin from? Like anybody else, he's got to go around. Mikar and Dorim Mizrachas. He comes up the Kevesh, starts at the Dorim Mizrach corner, and makes his way around. Mizrachas Tzvainis, right? Tzvainis Maravas, Maravas Droimis. And then he's holding by that corner where he wants to do Nisach HaYayin. So, B'noisel Yayin Nasach, he's giving wine to pour. Apparently, the Gemara's understanding that he's encircling the Mizbeach, holding the wine. Apparently, it's not an issue. No danger to the wine. Amar Rabbi Yechon, no, a cup of a regel. He's given his wine when he gets to this corner. He's not going to carry it around with him. It's going to get damaged, get ruined by that smoke. Amar Rabba Dekanami, says Rabba, the wording in the Brisa also indicates as such, that he wasn't really carrying his wine with him. He was making his round around the Mizbeach to do Haktarah, but then when he got to this corner, they handed him the wine. The Ketani, it says, when he gets to that corner, they hand him the wine. It doesn't say, he's already holding the wine. Here, they instruct him, go pour. They give it to him now, because he didn't have it until now. Shema Mino, that proves our point. Now, Rashi asked the obvious question. Here we see that the Kohen Gadol has to encircle the Mizbeach in order to do Nisach HaYayin. And in our Mishnah we say, no, you go straight to that corner. She says big difference, because now Mishnah was speaking about a Kohen Hedid, regular Kohen. They had a lottery system. He had to, he won the privilege, he won the right to do Nisach HaYayin. So he goes directly there to do it. Here we're speaking about the Kohen Gadol, who's engaging in other forms of Haktorah, he's doing other Haktorahs on his Mizbeach. So first he makes his way around, does what he needs to do, then when he gets to this corner, they hand him the wine for Nisach. Tana Rabban. So typically a Kohen who ascends the ramp up to the Mizbeach, being that he's going to be turning right, in any case, says Rashi, may as well make your way up the right side of the Mizbeach, perhaps for just to keep things organized and safe. So if you're going this way, right, up, you do it along the right ridge of the Kevesh. And when he's done, when he finishes encircling his Mizbeach, comes around and goes down the left side of the Kevesh, right? So it's a two-way street. You have a lane going up this way, a lane going down this way. Oilen derech mizrach, v'yarden derech mar, right? So he goes up the mizrach side of the kevesh, right, which is this side, and he comes down the western side, like you explained. V'yarden derech mar. Chutz, except for those three cases, where you must go directly to this corner. Chutz min ha'oil l'shloisha dvarim. Hello, except when the kohen climbs up for the purpose of reaching the darim marav corner to the left of the kevesh. So in this case, how does he travel up? If he goes up the left side of the kevesh, so facing the kevesh, it's going to be to the left of the kevesh, up this way. He's going the wrong way, so to speak, so that he can go directly to the corner nearby. And certainly when he's done, he goes right back down where he came from, along the western ridge of the kevesh, which is the left side of the kevesh when facing it from the front, right? Oilin derachimin, v'yardin derachimin. Now here comes a cryptic statement. He goes up the right side, comes down the right side. What do you mean? I thought he's going up the left side, the western ridge of the kevesh, which is really, when you're going up, the kohen, from the kohen's perspective, going up is to his left. Says the Gemara, derech yamin. Why are you calling it the right? Derech smoilu. It's the left from his perspective. Maravina Tani Smoil, modify it, change the girsa to Smoil. It's to his left. Rav Amar, no, keep it the way it is. It depends from whose perspective. Sure, from the kohen as angle, it's to his left, but if we're looking at it from the mizbeach's perspective, once you're on the mizbeach, right, looking down, it's the mizbeach's right side, right, because the darim, as we said many times, is like the face of the mizbeach, so the face is like facing out. So the western ridge of the kevesh is actually considered the right of the mizbeach. My yamin, when it says yamin, it means yamin the mizbeach, the right of the mizbeach. Umay smol the gavra. And in the first part of the brisa, where it called the western ridge of the kevesh, smile, it meant in terms of the person's perspective going up, it's to his left. So it all depends on which side you're looking from. Says the Gemara, Vinisni, why not just be consistent? Either reference everything from the mizbeach's perspective or from the person's perspective. Why are we sort of shifting midway? Vinisni, the brisa should state it consistently. Either the first and second part of the brisa from the mizbeach's perspective, or the gavra, or both from the kohen's perspective going up. Kasha, we leave it as an unresolved question. Okay, so in a nutshell, what took place on this corner, the darim marav corner? Three things on top, three things on bottom. On bottom we have the chatas oif, the agoshes, and the shiri adam. On top we have the nisach hamayim, hayayin, and oilas oif. When they needed some extra space, we spoke about the long throw of the kohen over to the Beis Hadashin, and explained why, although typically you encircle to get anywhere, you go derech yamin, but regarding these three things, we make exception, we go directly to that corner. Okay, let's go back to discuss the chatas oif in greater detail. Chatas oif was done at this corner, as we said, Dori Marid, chatas oif, case of how would they process the chatas oif? Allah kevesh one of the soviv climbs up the kevesh, turns off to the mini ramp. Bola the karen dremis mizrachis, which some say has to be fixed to dremis maravis, as we explained. That's Dori Marid. And as we discussed yesterday, there are three steps in the chatas oif hakrava process. One is the malika, removal of the head of the bird, like a reverse shchita. Shchita is done from the neck. Malika is done from the back of the neck, using the kohen's sharp thumbnail. Then we have the haza'ah, where the kohen clutches the bird itself and sprays the dam directly to the mizbeach. Then we have mitzvah, where he squeezes the body of the bird onto the wall of the mizbeach and allows blood to trickle down. So we have malika, haza'ah, and mitzvah. Says the Mishnah, Hayamoyluk as Roisha, he would remove the head through doing a malika process. Memul arpa, opposite the oirif. Oirif is the back of the head, and the malika took place at the neck, which is below the back of the head, so opposite the oirif. Although he does malika, but it's not a complete severance. Rashi says the bird has two simanim, the esophagus and the trachea, so we only do one siman and leave it still connected to the body. As opposed to the oila sa'if, as we're going to see in the next Mishnah, where the malika executes a complete severance of Roish and Guf. Next phase is Haza'ah, Umaza, Midam, Al Kem Mizbech. He takes the animal, the bird, spritches the dam onto the wall of the Mizbech, and as we discussed, it's the Doraim Marav corner on the lower part. What about the leftover blood? Shari Hadam Hoya Mismatze El Yisoid would be squeezed and allowed to trickle down to the foundation, the bottom of the Mizbech. Only thing that arrives at the Mizbech is the blood, as we said. The rest of the bird is consumed by the Kohanim as part of the kapara process. Tanarabon. V'hiza midam achatas, miguv achatas. The azor must be directly from the body of the bird. You don't use your finger and spray it like by the animal korbanos or in a kli. No, directly. Direct flight from the bird to the Mizbeach. Miguv achatas. Okay, so how do you do that? He grabs hold of the head and the body as one unit. Umaza, and sprays the blood on the Mizbeach, on the wall of the Mizbeach. V'lei al kira kevesh, not on the wall of the kevesh, not on the wall of the heichal, the ulam, but rather on the Mizbeach. V'lei al kira heichal, v'lei al kira ulam. Ve'eze, now, sure, the Mizbeach, but the upper part or lower part? Zakir ha-tachten, the lower part. How do we know? Maybe the upper part. Maybe the upper part. In fact, I can perhaps substantiate that it should be the upper part, based on a logic, based on kavah chemer. Vidinu, look, let's shift for a second to the animal karbanis. We have the chatos behema, whose blood is applied up on the corners, if you remember, right, on the corner of the on the top of the mizbeach. We have the oilas behema, the oila animal, whose blood is applied on the bottom near the yisod. So that will be a basis for a kavah chemer as follows. Even by the animal karbanis, where the oila is on the bottom, still chatos alamala, chatos goes up. Certainly by the birds, oiv sheilas alamala, where the oila is processed on top. Eino din, wouldn't you agree that the chatos as well should be on top? So if the oila is on top, as we're going to see later in the Gemara, certainly the chatos. Here comes the answer. No. Vanishar badam yimatzei el yisoid hamizbeach. The leftovers is going to be squeezed and it's going to trickle. Where to? El yisoid hamizbeach. It's going to trickle to the yisoid, right? The foundation, the little step on the bottom of the mizbeach near the floor. So that requires the blood to be applied on the lower part of the mizbeach so that it trickles down to the yisoid, because if it's done on the upper part of the mizbeach, it can very well be above the ledge. And the ledge would get in the way, would not allow the blood to trickle down to the yisoid. Remember, there's a yisoid on the bottom, and then the mizbeach sort of rides up, right? The wall rides up. Then we have, above the halfway mark, we have something called a soivev. Look at the Hanan walk around, it's a walkway, a ledge. And then you have the next part of the mizbeach wall till you get to the top. If you imagine you do it on top, it can very well be over the soiva, over the ledge, and the blood would just trickle and stop right there. It wouldn't go down to the yisoid. Apparently, the proper place for application of the dam is below the halfway marker, directly above the yisoid, which allows the mitzvah, the trickling, to land on the yisoid. Kira, you need to utilize that wall section, shashirayin shaloi mismatzum liyisoid, which will allow the leftover, the trickling blood, to trickle down to the yisoid. What does that have to be? Must be kira tachten, the lower part of that wall. Ask the Gemara. This pasuk speaks about mitzvah, which is phase 3. We're talking about hazah, which is phase 2. Maybe hazah takes place on top and mitzvah on the bottom. Ve'ema, perhaps you can suggest. Sorry, v'nevet meiloi. Let him do the hazah phase 2 upstairs. And then do mitzvah phase 3 downstairs. What's the problem? Amarava. The pasuk here is alluding to phase 2 and phase 3 as well, in the same location. Miksiv yamtze. Does the pasuk then say yamtze should squeeze, indicating that we're only speaking about phase 3, the squeezing part, which takes place on bottom yimatzeiksiv. The pasuk purposely verbalized it differently, punctuated it differently. Yimatzeiksiv. It should trickle by itself, which means to say the memela mashma trickles on its own. Meaning we're speaking about the blood trickling off the hazah as well. Not the the act of mitzu, which is phase 3. That certainly has to be on the bottom. But even phase 2, the hazah, which enables trickling, right? Meaning the hazah sprays the blood, and then the blood trickles by itself. Even that has to take place below in order to allow it to trickle down to the yesod. Okay, so now we know that the chatas oiv's blood is applied on the mizbeach. But where? On the bottom part. Amarav zutra baturvya. Amarav. Okay, we speak about malika. Now it gets complicated. How does the kohen do malika? Look, he has to use only his right hand to clutch the bird, to do malika. He's got to sort of work his fingers around the bird to keep it in place and do the malika at the same time. That's a pretty complicated mission. How do we do that? Amarav zutra baturvya. Amarav. Keitzad mulkin chatasoiv. How does the kohen go about doing a malika on a chatasoiv? As follows. Very simple. So the bird has 2 wings. That's the gapayim, the wings, and the 2 legs. He's got to keep it all firmly in place, and then access the back of the neck. So it's these 2 fingers, the first and the second, that traps the 2 wings. The next 2 fingers will trap the 2 legs. Okay, now the bird is, according to this pshat, the bird is inside the palm. Okay, bird is here, the palm. 2 wings are being held in place by the first 2 fingers, and 2 legs are held in place by the last 2 fingers. And the bird is inside, and the head will now be bent over so that he can do the malika with his thumb. Okay, so again, eiches gabav, the 2 wings, b'shtei etzbos, are inserted between the first and second finger, from the inside to the outside, from the front to the back of the hand. And the same with the legs. B'shtei raglaim, the 2 legs of the bird, again, he inserts that to the other 2 fingers. B'shtei raglaim, b'shtei etzbos. U'moiseach tzavar, and he bends the neck of the bird now. The neck. That's not what he's going to do malika. He's going to malika on the back of the neck. The neck itself is, he runs it over the width of his thumb. Okay, so that's firmly in place. Al roichav, on the width of the goydle of his thumb, and then he twists his thumb around to access the back of the neck and does malika with the nail. Umalka. Masisatan in the brisa, we put the bird on the outside, the back of his hand, so it's the same system, it's just in reverse. Masisatan tziprim labar, the bird is sitting outside, and the wings are inserted into the 2 fingers here, and the legs to the other 2 fingers here. So he puts the 2 wings into the first 2 fingers. And same with the legs. So the bird is sort of hanging on the back of his hand, and the neck, the head is now inserted into the palm area, over the width of his first, index finger. And he runs the neck of the bird over the width of the first 2 fingers. So now it's inside the palm. And now he has full access using his thumb, the malika, the back of the neck. Okay, so it's either inside out or outside in. Either way, the head is inserted between the thumb and the first finger, which allows for a malika. And it's not so simple. This is the most difficult operation in the Beis HaMikdash. Zuhi v'suloi, this is the only difficult one. Nothing else that matches up. But what about kmitza? Pretty complicated operation. The kohen would have to scoop using his 3 middle fingers. It's got to be a perfect scoop, not too roomy, not too tight. Also complicated. And let's remember, he has to use only his right hand, which is the only thing suitable for the avodah. He's got to scoop it. He's got to smooth it out, only using his right. This is also a complicated operation on Yom Kippur. The kohen would have to scoop the ketores using his arms, and it was a complicated thing. Elaima, rather, you're right. This is one of 3 difficult operations. Zuhi avodah kasha me avodas kasos shemigdash di malika. Operation was one of the 3 most difficult jobs in Beis HaMikdash. Okay, so that's the chatas oif. It's done on the dor and marav corner. Malika, without a complete severance. There was hayzah, and then there was mitzvah. Oilas oif, ketzad nasas. What about the oilas oif? Very similar, but slightly different. First of all, the other corner, right? Ol kevish. So he goes up the kevish upon al soiv, and then makes a sharp right over to the mini ramp. Bol leker and dermis mizrachas. Now he's at dor and mizrach corner, which, as we said, is convenient, close to the Beis Hadeshin. Hoyel malchus roishim will oper magel, does a malika, but this time he completely separates the head. Umitzas dama al kir hamizbeach. Here there's no hazah, only two phases, malika and mitzvah. There's no spraying; it's just squeezing the bird to the mizbeach and allowing the blood to trickle along the down the wall. Okay, now notal saroish. So he grabs hold of the head of the bird. V'hikiv beis melukos lamizbeach. So we spoke about squeezing the bird, the actual body, onto the mizbeach, and now we have the head as well. He has to squeeze out the blood as well. So he grabs the head. V'hikiv beis melukosoi. That's the exposed, the neck area of the bird, which had been severed, so that open area, which gives him access to the blood. So he makes contact, pushes it along the wall of the mizbeach to allow the blood, right, to squeeze the blood out. So now he has squeezed out the blood of the head and the body. Notas roish v'hikiv beis melukos lamizbeach. V'safkiv melech. While he's holding the head, he covers it with, coats it with salt. V'zarka gaveishim, throws it onto the fire. Now he does the same with the body of the bird. Bodo the goof, he approaches the body of the bird. V'hisiris raw, right? There's a noitza, removes the crop and the noitza, the feathers, covering the skin and the crop. V'esbnei hama'ayim hayotzim imam, and also the intestines that come along with that. Rashi and Chumash explains because the bird is accustomed to eating, snacking off other people's food, so it's lacking in purity. That cannot be brought to the mizbeach. Okay, a lesson for all of us. Erlichkeit. V'shlichim Beis Hadeshin. Okay, and he throws it to the Beis Hadeshin alongside the kevish. Now shisa. He does like a chop between the wings of the bird, without completely separating, just a chop, but it still stays intact. If he did such a strong chop, which actually separated into two, it's also fine. So he coats it with salt, and throws it onto the fire. And that's the completion of the hakrava. Now let's say he skipped one of these things. The only thing that's critical is the malika and the application of the blood. Anything else, as important as it is, it's not critical. Let's say he forgot to remove this waste material, or he didn't add salt. By any deviation that took place in this carbon, after the mitzvah, ksher is okay. Only thing that's critical is a proper malika and a proper mitzvah. Now, in terms of a proper malika, there's a difference between the oila, where you do a complete malika, and the chatas, which is still somewhat connected. Hivdil b'chatas. Let's say he reversed. But a chatas, complete severance. But did not completely sever the oila, puzzle, that doesn't work. Mitzvahs damaroish, mitzvah damaguf, psula. In terms of applying the blood of the oila, if he did mitzvah on the head but not on the body, so he missed the main thing, it's psula. Mitzvah damaguf, mitzvah damaroish, he applied the blood of the guf without the roish, then ksher, it's okay. What about if he had the wrong intention? So chatas ha'if is similar to chatas behema. Even shaloi l'shma, having in mind the wrong carbon, this qualifies the carbon. Chatas ha'if shemal ka shaloi l'shma. He did either malika shaloi l'shma or mitzvah dama shaloi l'shma. It's possible. Or even if he switched around, l'shma v'shaloi l'shma. First he had in mind for the chatas, then he switched to something else. Or in the reverse, oy shaloi l'shma v'l'shma psula. However, the oila is like an oilas behema. In as much as you can't have shaloi l'shma, but if he did shaloi l'shma, it's still okay. Oila sa'oiv ksher. It still passes. Ubavad. Shaloi also l'balam l'shem. Chayva doesn't count. Doesn't get credited to the owner's account. He has to bring another one. Now what about pigel? right? Or shaloi bim kaimai. It applies to birds just like the animals. Whether it's a chatas or an oila, shemolkan v'shemitzadaman. So just like by the animal karbanis, these types of thoughts can adversely impact the carbon if they occur during the hakrava process, which by an animal entails 4 steps: shchita, kabbalah, halacha, and zrika. But by the birds, you only have malika, and the application of the blood. We don't have the other things. So any thought that took place during those phases affects the carbon. Whether it was shaloi bizmani, thinking that he's going to be consuming the animal or offering to mizbeach in the wrong time, or shaloi b'mkayim in the wrong place, makes the carbon pasul. Shaloi bizmani is pigul, actually. As we're going to see, provided pigul only works if it's purely pigul without any other deficient thoughts. Otherwise, it's just pasul, not pigul. So it's pretty much runs along the same rules as the animal karbanos. We'll have a quick review all the way to the end of the Mishnah, going through all the different cases that we had already discussed by the animals. Whether it's a chata or an oila bird, shemalkan with a malika or the mitzvah, ushemitzah it's daman, with the wrong thought. Lechal davar shalak leechal, to consume something which is meant to be consumed, like the chatas bird, meant to be consumed for the kayanim. Ulach davar shalak leechal, or to burn the element of the carbon meant for the mizbeach. In the wrong time or the wrong place. Chutzlam kaim, the wrong place, possible. In it's possible without kares, but chutzlam manoi, it's possible with kares. It's pigul. V'chayav alav pigul v'chayav kares. One eats it even now. It's chayav kares. Ubavad pigul only occurs if there's no other deficient elements around. Ubavad yakiv ramatum mitzvasa. The matter typically refers to the processing of the blood, right? That's the matter that enables the carbon for consumption, enables the carbon for further processing. The permitter, the activities involving the matter must be done either completely pigul, right, or somewhat pigul and the rest nothing. But you can't have other thoughts, other deficient thoughts that would interfere with the pigul process. Let's play it out. What is considered karev hamatak mitzvah? Again, the point is, it was strictly pigul, with no other deviating thoughts. For instance, malak b'shtik. Maliki did quietly, didn't express any deficient thoughts. But when it came to the blood, he veered into pigul territory. U'mitzadam chusazmani, or the opposite. Oisha malak chusazmani. Maliki did chusazmani, which is pigul. U'mitzadam b'shtik v'mitzoi. He sat quietly. Or everything was done with pigul. Oisha malak. U'mitzadam chusazmani. All these are considered pigul. Zeo, shakorev, hamatak mitzvasa, and all these, the matter was done for mitzvasa, which means to say, either completely pigul, or just, benignly, but there was no other interfering thought. Keitzad loy karev hamatak mitzvasa. What's an example of a loy karev, an unsuccessful pigul, where he inserted some, salt and pepper, something else, which didn't belong there. For instance, malak chuslam kaimai. He was thinking wrong location when he did the malika, and that preempts any pigul from happening, because it's mitzvah adam chusazman. Even though the mitzvah was not chusazman, or the opposite, or shamalach chusazman, or the chusazman applied to the malika, but when it came to the blood, he was thinking chusam kaimah, mitzvah adam chusam kaimah, or everything was chusam kaimah, or everything was shalei shma. That's not pigul. Or shamalach mitzvah adam chusam kaimah, or by a chatas if where shalei shma interferes, shamalka shalei shma. Umitza hadam chusas manai, or oishamalak chusas manai, umitza adam shalishma, or oishamalak umitza adam chusas shma. All these are not considered pigul zeo shalei karev hamatak mitzvasa, because there's another deficient element involved. Now let's say, within the same avodah, you're thinking chusas manai and chusas mekaimai. Do we just focus on chusas manai, pigul, or chusas mekaimai interferes? Lechol kazayis b'chutz, kazayis l'machar. I'm going to eat a kazayis outside. That's what's l'mkaimai. You have to think about a kazayis at least, right? And kazayis tomorrow, kazayis l'machar. Or in the reverse, kazayis l'machar, kazayis b'chutz. Or half and half. You combined half kazayis pigul, half kazayis chutz l'mkaimai. Kachatzi zayis b'chutz, half a kazayis I'm going to eat outside, and a half tomorrow. Kachatzi zayis l'machar. Or in the reverse, kachatzi zayis l'machar. And all these, it's only pasul, but there's no karas. It's not pigul, because the shleim kaimai element preempted the pigul. Vein by kares. Rabbi Yehuda, no, depends what came first. Zeklal. This is the way it works. If the kazayis of zman, of shleib bizmanai, was uttered before the makim, pigul sets in. If machshavas kadma machshavas makim, pigul, v'chilon kares. But if the makim came first, then I agree, there's no pigul. If machshavas makim kadma machshavas zman, pasvim kares. Chamayim, they disagree. Chum say no. First, second, doesn't matter. Zevachim, either way, possibly a curse, it's possible. There's no curse because there was another element involved. What about combining personal consumption and mizbeach consumption? Okay, lechol kachazizayis. I'm going to eat half a zayis tomorrow, chosas money, and half a kazayis I'm going to burn the mizbeach tomorrow. So it's a kazayis of shalev is money. Problem is, I'm trying to join together personal and mizbeach consumption. Does that work? Kosher. Doesn't affect the carbon at all. You can't combine achila and aktorah. She'en achila aktorah mitzdarfen, because there are two different types of consumptions. Okay, for a quick recap of today's daf, we discussed the activities that took place along the corners of the mizbeach. Dore Mara featured 3 on top and 3 on bottom. Chata So'if, Hagashas, Shir Adam took place on bottom. Nisa Chamayim Ba'yayin, and Elas Oif, when there was spillover from the other side, took place on top, on the upper part of that corner area. We discussed the physical prowess of the kohen, who would have to throw the material all the way across to the Beis Hadesh. We discussed the kohen gadol, having access to Haktorah all the time. We discussed the traffic arrangements up and down the kevish. We discussed the particulars about the Chata So'if, Malika Hazor, and Mitzui. Described the act of Malika in great detail. And we discussed the Eila So'if, which was similar to the Chata So'if, with a couple of minor differences. And we discussed the pigul process that applies to birds, just as it applies to behemoths. All the best to you, and Atzlacha Rab.